It's Game of Thrones.
Same. Look at that.
How about
Look at that
that?
nostalgia connection. So Game of Thrones only number 6.
Yeah, for me, it was number 4 last year for me,
Mhm.
which in season 6 of Game of Thrones, everyone loved because of all the plot, you know, Amy B,
Right.
everything happening, Danny
All the
finally leaving
payoffs.
Essos, etc. We've talked about Game of Thrones at length. I don't need to rehash the plot for everyone. But season 7 is at number 6. It's a little lower because I think this season had some pretty obvious issues. It's perhaps the first big show in a long time
Mhm.
that needed more episodes, not less. In the age of Netflix giving 13 episode season orders to shows that only need 8 episodes, the fact that Thrones could have used more uh, was definitely glaring. And I think
Mhm.
the writing, while still good, there were some narrative leaps of logic that were just a little much, and that says something when
How
it's a
about those
show.
Ravens, though?
It's when it's a fantasy show. Yeah, how about those ravens, those teleporting ships and
Yep.
dragons? And again, I think a lot of that you can tolerate,
Mhm.
but overall, it's still worthy of a demerit. Um,
Yeah. Well, it's
I think a
interesting.
big part of that is because this season was clearly table setting for the final season,
Right.
which will get in 2019.
Mhm.
So in a sense, it's kind of hard to do a penultimate season. The Americans also had a very similar dip happen before their
Yep.
final season comes out. So in a sense, Benioff and Weiss have built up so much goodwill that anyone who says Game of Thrones is bad now, uh, they're gonna be happy with what happens in season 7.
Right.
I don't see how you can assume anything else until it actually happens. Therefore, they get a little bit pass for me.
Yeah, and honestly, even like bad Game of Thrones is good Game of Thrones. Like it's better than 95% of the other things on shows on TV, just because it's such a spectacle. They've built up so many characters, and you're invested in so many characters and storylines, and it's just like I was thinking back to like Loot Train Battle, which still might be the worst battle
Yeah,
name of all time.
the
That was
spoils
a
of war, amazing
oh man,
episode.
yeah, like these episodes are still episodes that I remember and think about. Um, it's interesting though, because when we talk about Game of Thrones for this list, we talk about like why we put it down so low instead of why higher. And I think that just speaks to the quality of the show. It's
Mhm.
been such a juggernaut that the fact it's 6, it's like, oh, what an off year for Thrones, but it's still phenomenal.